Hey everyone, in this video I want to talk about the tipping boundaries I came up with recently. So we all know tipping's all the rage these days at so many different places, not even just the usual full service restaurants or other service jobs. Other places that are the last place you would expect to have a tip option. So I came up with boundaries of where I will tip, how much, and why I chose to do that. So, first off, where I will tip 15 to 20%. 15% for full service restaurants because servers in those roles are paid a much lower wage than minimum wage per hour, depending on what state you're in. I will tip 15% there. 20% is for rideshare drivers, so I pay for an Uber. Yes, I'm going to pay 20% because I know that there's a lot of barely breaking even with, say, driving for Uber. It's a much more involved service compared to a restaurant, if I'm being completely honest. You're literally getting into a stranger's car. Yes, a vetted stranger, but you're still getting into a stranger's car all the same. And you're spending anywhere from, I don't know, 20 minutes to an hour, depending on traffic, how far you're going. Yeah, I'd say 20% is appropriate for that. That's what I'm sticking with personally because, again, that and it's a lot more expensive to be an Uber driver, relatively speaking. So, yeah, to recap, that's 20% for Uber, 15% for servers at a full service restaurant. Yeah, I would count this full service restaurant within the movie theater I go to, and King's, even though it is a bowling alley, since I am ordering food, I would consider that the 15% tipping boundary. Even if I just go bowling and I don't order anything to eat or drink, if I get some tap water along the way, I'm still gonna tip because I don't know if they make regular minimum wage or not. I've heard from someone I knew that the servers at the restaurant within the movie theater, they're paid regular minimum wage because they're technically an entertainment venue and not a restaurant, the same way that, say, Chili's or Applebee's is. Therefore, they get paid regular minimum wage instead of the server rate, but they still collect tips, and I will still tip there. Now, the 10% tip I reserve for delivery drivers, whether it's groceries or restaurant takeout. Like, let's say I order a pizza for delivery, I will tip 10%. Every time I order groceries for delivery, 10% for that. The reason I don't go higher on the groceries is because changes to the order, such as a more expensive substitution or outright canceling of an item or two or three, or an item that ends up being missing or multiple items missing, none of that changes the actual tip percentage. I will say this about Shipt compared to regional grocery chain. Shipt had had you tip after the fact, so I was able to select the X% tip based on the final total and not the presumed total. I think if I started over with shoppers who didn't know me, I would go down to 10%. It's not as involved as far as I'm concerned, especially the way that regional grocery chain does it. Now, Shipt, you could argue, uh, 15%. They're contacting you as you go to see what you'd like for substitutions or to let you know about items they had to cancel. Personally, because of how regional grocery chain works, and because of Grubhub, the one that I use because I get Grubhub Plus as part of Amazon Prime, I'm going to go with 10% for those. Now, I was thinking about a 5% tier for, let's say, an ice cream shop or a fast food place. Honestly, I'm not as inclined to tip there. I'm just going to say it. It's nothing personal. I just think we have to draw a line for where an additional cost of that where that additional cost comes in. It's not the same keeping track of things as a full service restaurant. It's not as involved as an Uber driver. Not every single job needs to have a tip option. And like I said earlier, we've got to draw a line on where we tip and why. So to reiterate, 10% for food deliveries, grocery or restaurant, 15% for full service restaurant servers or in any environment remotely resembling that, 20% for rideshare drivers, Uber or otherwise. So let me know if you agree with this or if you disagree with me anywhere. Let me know in the comments down below. I'm probably not going to change my mind that easily based on it, but hey, if you want to let me know that I'm wrong, go for it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.